Best way for a high school athlete to reach out to the college coach would be, creating a highlight tape and having your coach send it out, email, via iMessage and different ways like that, because it's not really hard for them to do that because they have many people they can network with. There's many questions that, go through your head when being recruited, but I don't really have any questions. I think I asked all my questions, but I know a lot of kids, they ask when are they able to go home, when are breaks, because not everybody goes to school in state. I'm personally from Georgia, so one of the questions I asked was when are the breaks we get and how long they were. You're only going to pick one school at the end of the day, but treat all the coaches with the utmost respect, because you never know when you'll need them down the road.
How can an athlete get onto the coach's radar?
An athlete, you don't really have to go to camps. You just, go out there and do all the little things right. It's all about high school film and different sports. It's AAU and different things like that. But high school is just, getting your film out there and your high school footage, varsity footage, and it kind of takes off from there.
Who did you have the most contact with during the recruiting process? Head coaches, position coaches, players, advisors, and how did you contact them?
Personally, I probably had the most connections and interactions with head coaches, Notre Dame, Florida, Michigan State. Those are kind of my top 3 schools, along with Pitt, so I'd say top 4. And if they really want you, the head coach will talk to you, and your position coach obviously is talking to you, but the head coach is definitely vouching and doing everything he can to, get you to play for his team.
What is the biggest piece of advice that you can give an athlete on their first time meeting the coach?
Just, don't be afraid to ask any questions. It's never good to leave with unanswered questions. Just take everything in, because you don't know how long you'll be able to go through that recruiting process, and you're just very blessed to be going through that, and just treat every coach with utmost respect, like I said earlier, and just take everything in, and it's not all about the athletics, but it's also about the academics.
When you were choosing a school, how much did the position coaches influence your decision, or was it more on the head coach?
Coach Warner was my position coach. Now he's obviously the quarterback coach, but it definitely influenced because he was coming to my school all the time, and the head coach can't really come all the time because he's dealing with many other problems and also recruiting. Coach D came down once, but because they're only allowed to come for an in-home visit once, and a school visit another time, but it just depends on all the NCAA rules.
How important do you think it is to fully understand the program philosophy before you commit to a school?
A lot of kids nowadays, they commit to schools and then they'll decommit. My thing going along the recruiting process was just, picking a school and staying committed, being 110% bought in, because I don't know, I feel like when you commit, you're loyal to that school and that school only. You kind of have to cut everybody else off. But a lot of kids nowadays are coming out with top 10s, top 5, schools, and they're committing. And then after they commit, they're saying, oh, I'm still interested in these schools. I'm not fully committed, but they're still committed, and it's in their bio, so it doesn't really make sense. But I committed to Michigan State on December 4th, and I just stayed committed all the way through.
What is your biggest piece of advice for new athletes on their first day of practice?
Just follow the older guys. Don't really be trying to hop in line first. The older guys, they've been there, done that. So you got to kind of learn the ropes, and once you learn the ropes, you'll start gaining other guys and the older guys respect, and you kind of go from there.
What was the most challenging part about walking on to a college team where all of the athletes were already settled and you were not, especially being from out of state?
It's definitely challenging, but when you come in with all the guys in your class, you kind of get close with them, because not everybody's from the state of Michigan, because obviously we go to Michigan State, but my roommates being from Chicago, and a lot of kids being from Ohio, it's kind of a challenge for all of us, because you just don't really know anybody, and you guys are all you have. And then the older guys, they start bringing you in, as the weeks go on, as they kind of get to know you and as you get to know them.
Okay. We all know how important it is for an athlete to go to their dream school. What advice do you have for a high school athlete who does not receive an offer from their dream school?
It's not about, going to your dream school. If, at the end of the day, it's about getting your degree. And if you're able to go to your dream school, that's sweet. But if not, you have to go where it's best for you. And if your goal is to play professional sports, it doesn't matter if you're D1, D2, FBS, or, FCS. It's just what you do when you get there.
What advice do you have for an athlete who enters into a program that is supposed to be extremely good or was good the year before and then really underperforms their first year at that school?
I feel like that happens everywhere, You don't really know what's going to happen when you get there, but the school, before you get there, they could be winning all these championships, but, sometimes you're hit with adversity and you can't just decide to transfer. You're just going to have to, stay tight and, go through those hard times and hopefully rise up.
How did the skill of the players who share your position, like LJ Scott here, affect your decision? Like, were you afraid of not having playing time, or did you take it as like a learning experience?
LJ is, one of my good friends, but coming in, you never know what you're gonna expect, and I really like Michigan State, but if you're afraid to compete, you shouldn't be playing college sports, regardless of the situation. LJ is obviously a great back, and I wish him the best of luck in the NFL and whatnot, but every guy out there and every position out there is competing, so the best guy's going to play, and if you're not good enough, you just have to keep on working, and you get to wait till your number's called.
This kind of is like a similar question. What advice do you have for a freshman on the team behind a big key player, not getting the playing time they think they deserve?
One of my pieces of advice would be, trust the process. Not everybody's going to play as a true freshman. I was lucky to play as a true freshman, but my role was limited. And every year it's going to kind of go up, but you have to kind of start on special teams and do the little things first before you're able to do the big things. You have to gain the coach's trust. Everybody's role is different, everybody's path different, and sometimes you just have to embrace that.
What is the best piece of advice that a coach has given you, and who was that coach?
I really don't have a coach in particular, but at Michigan State, they just preach hard work and, discipline, because you can have the most talent, but if you're not disciplined and have the hard work installed in you, you're easily going to get beaten, and I think our coaches preach that every day.
Okay, there's just a couple more questions. These ones are a little different. How much did the food affect your decision when you were picking a school?
I don't think that really played a decision, but every place, when you're taking an official visit or unofficial, you're always eating good, Sometimes you're like, when are we going to stop eating? But they just keep on putting more food in your face, and, it's kind of hard to say no to food.